Hey everybody, welcome back to another fun and exciting Algebra 1 class. Today we are going to learn a little bit more about solving equations. What we're going to do today is kind of what we've done in the last two lessons. We're going to combine them into one lesson and talk about the whole process of what if it has addition, what if it has subtraction, what if it has multiplication, what if it has division, all going on in the same equation. And this is kind of the beginning of solving the equations that you'll be getting this year in algebra. So kind of putting the pieces together in this lesson. If you will, go ahead and you can look in your book. We are on page number 54, and that is lesson 2.3. Lesson 2.3. And if you'll follow along there, you'll see some of these things that I'm talking about. The first thing that I want to do before we really kind of go into the lesson is I want to give you my steps for solving linear equations. You can look down here and I've got them all written out already. First of all, I want to start with, what does this word right here mean? Solving linear equations. Let's look down here. Let me write that word again, linear. All right, linear equations. What is a linear equation? Well, if you look at this first part of the word right there. What does that say? Line. Line. You could actually get rid of this last part of the word right now, and we just want to focus on the idea of these are line equations. What does that mean? Well, this is something interesting that's going to be coming up here in just a few lessons. We're actually going to be putting these equations onto a graph. In other words, we're going to make the equation give us a line. The equation is another way to write a line, and it's a very interesting thing that's coming up in just a few lessons. So you're going to hear me calling these linear equations, and that just means that the equation gives you a line. When you put it on a graph, it gives you a line. So we'll be doing that here in a little bit, but for right now we need to be able to solve them first before we can put them onto the graph. So linear equations, what are they? All right, and what do they look like? How do we solve them? All right, the first thing we want to do is check this out. I like this. I came up with this. You're not going to find this in the book, I'm sorry. They have some steps there, but they're not the same as mine. So number one, do what you can do. Do what you can do. What does that mean? Well, is there anything, when you look at it, is there anything that you can solve just by looking at it? And you can look and say, okay, it says 3x plus 2x. Well, I can do that because those are like terms, so I can combine those. Is there anything that I can do? Maybe we've learned how to distribute. Maybe you'll see something that allows you to distribute, and so we know how to distribute, so that's something that you can do. Do what you can do. Look at it and say, okay, I can solve that. I can do that. The second step is that we want to move the letters to one side, and we want to move the numbers to the other side. Okay, and we do that by do the plus and the minus first, and then we do the multiplication and the division second. And you'll see what all this looks like in just a second. Okay, so the first lesson we did in this chapter, chapter 2, lesson 1, was the addition and subtraction principle. The second lesson was not by mistake. It was in that order for a reason, because you do the multiplication and the division second. And now you're thinking, wait a second, in order of operation, I do multiplication and division first. Well, think of it as when you're solving an equation, you're kind of doing the order of operation backwards. And so you're going to do the multiplication and division after you do the addition and the subtraction. And it sounds backwards, but if you will do it that way, you'll get the right answer. If you do it the other way, you'll get confused and you'll end up getting bad answers. So follow these steps. Move the letters to one side and the numbers to the other side. Do the addition and the subtraction first. Then do the multiplication and the division. Now, you should be writing this down. Now, I'm not standing next to you right now, but my guess is that there's a lot of you watching this. You're not writing it down. You're like, okay. And you're going to forget everything that I'm teaching you. Write it, get your notebook, use your pencil, and write it down. The more you write, the more your brain connects. And so I want you to connect. I don't want you just to kind of hear it because you're going to forget it. So get your pencil, write it down. Rewind the video, write these things down. These are very important. You need these all the way through algebra class. And then the last step in the linear equation would be to check your answers. We want to check our answers. All right, so I'm going to keep coming back up to that. So let's go ahead and try to solve one of these. If you will, you can look on page number, I don't know what page number that, 55, page number 55. And we're going to do this one. This one is 8x plus 3 equals 5x plus 9. 8x plus 3 equals 5x plus 9. And if you notice, there's lots of different things going on here. This is not just one step. These are multiple steps. So we're going to take our time and we're going to move things around and we're going to do what we can do. And we're going to move the letters to one side, move the numbers to the other side. We're going to check our answers. We're going to follow the steps. So the first step is do what you can do. Do what you can do. Well, there's a problem with this one. There's nothing that I can do. There's no like terms over here. And there's no like terms over here. Now I understand that there's like terms here and here, but those are on the other side of the equal sign, so we can't really do anything with those yet. Right now we just want to solve each side. Okay, well there's nothing we can do. There's no like terms. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and we want to move on to step number 2. There was nothing to do in step number 1. So step number 2 says move the letters to one side and the numbers to the other side. Okay, so we want to take all the letters. So here's a letter and here's a letter. And I want to move them all to one side. Let's call this the letter side. I don't know why. I like the left side being the letter side most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time it works better, I guess, to put the letter on the left side. And this one is going to be the number side. So look, we have a letter down here. We want to move this letter over here. How can I move that letter over to the other side? Well, we have a positive 5x over here. We have 5x. Now, if it was a negative sign in front of it, we'd have negative 5x, but it wasn't. There was no sign. So when there's no sign, that means that it's positive. So we have plus 5x. We do the opposite to get rid of it. Minus 5x. Okay, and if we do it to one side, we have to do it to the other side. So we have to take 5x away from that side. What happens here is that cancels, and now we end up with, I'll change the color here, we get 8 minus 5 is 3x plus 3 equals, that canceled, 9. We're still not done moving letters to one side and moving numbers to the other side. We still have a number over here that we need to move over there. So we're still doing the addition and subtraction steps. So we're going to subtract 3 from this side and subtract 3 from this side. That's going to cancel. We're going to get 3x equals 9 minus 3 is 6. We still have not finished. Now, we did all the addition and the subtraction. We did this. But now we have to do this one. We have to do the multiplication and the division. So we're still trying to get all of these numbers to the other side. Well, if it's times 3x, if that's times, what do we need to get rid of it? Divide by 3. And if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side because I have to keep it balanced. All right, so this cancels. 3 divided by 3 is 1, or just x. 1x and x are the same thing. X equals 6 divided by 3 is 2. X equals 2. And that's our solution. Now, we're not done yet, though, because if we go back to our steps, we still have step number 3. Check your answer. How do we check our answer? Well, what we do is we take the answer 2 and we plug it all the way back up here into the original equation. There's the original equation. So everywhere that you see an x, we're going to put a 2. So let's do it here. 8 times 2 plus 3 equals 5 times 2 plus 9. And now we're just going to solve these sides by order of operation. So order of operation would tell us that we do this first. 8 times 2, 16 plus 3 is 19. Okay, equals. And then we would do this first and get 10 plus 9 is 19. Bingo! We got the right answer because we checked it. And now I can confidently, on my test, I can confidently say, I know I got that one right. Why? Because I checked my answer, and my answer said it was correct. My check said that my answer was correct. Okay? All right, so that's what we want to do whenever we have multiple things going on the same one. Just follow your steps. Now, the one that we just did not have a step 1. So let's do one with a step 1. Let's put an x plus 3, and we'll put a 2 out in front of that. So that's going to have to be distributed. Minus 8 equals 6, parenthesis, x minus 7. That also has to be distributed. So now when we come back to step number 1 and we have a do what you can do, when we look at this one, there are some things that we can do. We have learned how to distribute this. So we can distribute both of those. So we're going to get 2 times x is 2x. Plus 2 times 3 is 6. Minus 8. You might say, where did the parentheses go? Well, they went away. Why? Because we solved them. Because we distributed. And when you distribute, you're solving the parentheses. Equals 6x minus 42. Okay? And now we are still on the do what you can do stage. We have not progressed past that because I want to show you something. Look right here. There's more that we can do. So you keep doing things until there's nothing left to do. So in this case, we still have this one. This is still a like term. 2x, 6 minus 8 is negative 2 equals 6x minus 42. All right, so nothing left to do. There's nothing left to do. We now have to go to step number 2, which says do addition and subtraction, or we're moving the letters to one side, the numbers to the other side. So we'll start with this, minus 2. We'll move him over here. So we're going to do plus 2, and over here we'll do plus 2. That will cancel, and we'll get 2x equals 6x. If we had negative 42 and then we're adding 2, we get negative 40, minus 40. Alrighty, so now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and we still have step number 2. We still have to get the letters to the other side. We need to take this 6x over here. And so if we have 6x, we need to subtract 6x. That will cancel, and we'll get 2 minus 6. Well, in algebra, when you do 2 minus 6, that's hard to do for some of you, but you follow the rules. Change the sign of the second and add. Adding tells us we need to subtract this. 6 minus 2 is 4. The sign of the larger is negative, so that's going to be negative 4x equals negative 40. We're still not done. We still have a number over here. Look, I still got to get this number over to the other side. But now we are multiplying, so this is times. So we're going to divide by negative 4. Divide both sides by negative 4, and that's going to cancel out. And we're going to get x equals negative 40 divided by negative 4 equals positive 10. X equals positive 10. Okay, and now we have to do step number 3. Step number 3 is check your answer. So let's come over here, and we got 10 as our answer. So everywhere that there's an X, we're going to put a 10. I'll just rewrite it down here, and we'll just kind of bring it down here. So 2 times 10 plus 3 minus 8 equals 6 times 10 minus 7. Now, you can do this with distributing, or you can do this without distributing. I think in this case, it's easier to do it without distributing. Let's just solve inside of these. We could do it. We could solve it both ways. It'll come out the same. So if we do this, we get 2 times 13 minus 8 equals 6 times 3. 10 minus 7 is 3. All right, so 2 times 13 is 26. 26 minus 8 is 18. 18 equals 6 times 3 is 18. Got it. We are correct. And so we can move on. Now we know it's right because we checked it. And so we got it correct. Okay? Well, I know that's a lot of information there, but that's all that I have for you today. You just keep following the same rules. Go back to these rules, okay? Learn those rules. Write those rules down. Memorize them, okay? And so now when you're going through there, think, okay, I got to do what I can do. Then I got to move the letters, and I got to move the numbers, and then I've got to check it. So just keep going through your process. Keep trying to get X all by itself. Keep trying to get your letter all by itself. Isolate your letter, okay? And you'll have great success on these if you can follow these steps, and you'll get the right answer. Just keep working hard, okay? That's all I have for you today. We'll see you later. Bye.